Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, and a very special welcome to our brand new author, Cheryl Wozniak. Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Miriam.
Congratulations. It is book launch day. How are you feeling?
I am feeling very excited. Yeah, it's been a long time in the making, but it feels really great to be at this point in the journey.
Yes. Well, congratulations. Today we're celebrating you and your wonderful book. Can you show everybody your book and tell them the title?
Yes, the title of my book is I Am Enough Just as I Am.
So beautiful. So beautiful. Can you tell us what inspired you to write this book?
Yes. Well, I've had a beautiful 35-year career as an educator, teacher, and administrator, and I read hundreds of books to children over those years. So I know the power of story. And I know that there are really important messages that can be shared through picture books. And so, what inspired me, though, is that I attended Believe Live, Miriam, in 2024. I did that to be in the company of other aspiring authors. And it was on the plane ride home,
Really?
California, on September 29th, which is my daughter Genesis's birthday. So I was inspired on that flight. I took out my notebook and I started brainstorming, and I just knew in that moment that I was called to write a book dedicated to her. And the message in it is for her. It's for my granddaughter, Carmelita. And it's actually for all of us, right, who have ever questioned our worthiness and our potential. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I interrupted there and I said, really, because you know this, but our viewers may not. I wrote the first draft to my book on a flight home. It was coming the other way. It was coming from, was I in Arizona or California? They're coming this way. So, Cheryl, I love that. Planes can do that, right? Maybe this is something that you are listening to. I'm talking to you, the viewer, and are thinking, ooh, I have a plane ride soon. And you'll get that inspiration on the plane. Cheryl, that's so wonderful. And you took action. Can you tell us what is the book about and who would you say it's for?
Yes. So I Am Enough Just as I Am is the story of an 8-year-old girl. And her name in the book is Carmelita, named after my granddaughter. And Carmelita faces a series of challenges, like many of us do in our school days, feelings of rejection and disappointment, a little bit of embarrassment, the normal feelings that we have that come up. But the accumulation of all those feelings are creating this storm inside of her. So some of us are wired to have really big emotions, and we don't always know what to do about those feelings. And so it reaches the point where she comes home and she finds her grandmother there, and her grandmother teaches her a breathing technique and a way to just say kind words to herself to calm that storm. And so this message of being enough, just as we are, whether we're good at reading or not, and whether we're accepted by a group of children who invite us to play, or as adults, whether we're accepted and celebrated for our work. The self-compassion that we can have and show for ourselves, the self-love that we can give is always there and available to us when we remember that we don't need to do anything but be ourselves, that we're worthy just who we are. And that is something that I really wanted that universal message to be shared with not just children, but with the teachers and the parents and the grandparents who read aloud to their loved ones.
Oh, I really like your book so much. So the fact that you are an educator and so I'm sure you saw that in children. I love the metaphor of the storm brewing inside of us until we know how to release that. Um, My next question, and I think you've kind of answered this, but if there's anything else you want to share, what is it that you hope that parents and kids will take away from the book?
Yeah. There is something else, and that's what happened with the book. What started as one storyline, often as I'm sure I'm not the first author that other stories emerge or other ideas. So in addition to that idea of yes, of worthiness, I wrote the book to connect families. Like there's
Mm,
something really important for me as a grandmother living in a multi-generational home, is that this story is meant to cross generations. And so the book and that shows the special bond between a grandparent and a grandchild. And I think that it's important that grandparents know and remember that the wisdom of their lived experience is very valuable and is there to be shared across generations. And so the lesson that I really want the grandparents to say to get from this is share your wisdom, because when I was a younger parent, I did not have the bandwidth necessarily to see my ability to calm my storm. That came from the wisdom of the years of me
mm,
growing. And then the other thing is that we often think about what adults can share with children.
mhm.
This book, it was really important to show that Carmelita then can teach her parents.
Parents.
Think that what we're learning, right, is that lessons can be taught from adults, passed on from adults to children, but also children are there and they can teach us things as well.
Yes.
Hope this brings generations together.
I have to tell you, that was probably one of my favorite parts of the book. And I wasn't going to spoil it, but she said it, the author said it. I love seeing the little girl in the story then teaching her parents something. I won't tell you what it is, but friends, you're going to really like this. Would you hold the book one more time, Cheryl? I just want to remind you or tell everybody that this book is available today on Amazon and going forward. So make sure to go there, grab a copy of this book, sit down with your grandchild, with your child if you are an educator with the children in your school, and share it with them. There's a lot in here to dissect. We're not going to go through all of it, but you're going to have to grab it, get a copy of the book. And also, you have resources in the back of the book that I think are going to be very beneficial to adults and children. Is there anything you want to share on those resources?
Certainly, I know having been a teacher, right, the power of read aloud. So there's a two-page here resource guide for for educators and families. So it has the calm down practice. It has the message about where the term mantra comes from. And really proud of the list of reflection questions for children and for parents and families, right? So at bedtime, and again, just to speak to that, what we just talked about is to really encourage parents and educators to share the types of storms that they carry and what does I am enough just as I am mean to them.
Okay, I love that. Well, I want to ask you a little bit about your journey into becoming an author, but I also know that you have a special guest there. So why don't we bring her on, introduce us?
All right. So thought it would be nice to share the real life Carmelita. And I know we'll talk a little bit about my illustrator, but if you can stand Carmelita, because
Yes.
Carmelita
Hi,
is
Carmelita.
wearing, wearing the outfit in the book. And this is one of the things that I want to
Oh,
share and just name that my amazing, yeah, go ahead, my amazing illustrator, Claudia, was so amazing. You can stand up. Go ahead and stand.
let me see
She
that shirt.
stand
Nice.
up. And she, yes, so the entire outfit here, Carmelita got to choose. And so again, there's a special, okay, sweetie, you can sit down. Special relation
Beautiful.
between authors and illustrators. And I just feel so fortunate. that Claudia engaged me and Carmelita, who got to choose the outfit that she would be wearing when she
Well,
through the book.
okay. Carmelita, I love that. How did you choose a butterfly for the shirt? And now I just noticed butterflies throughout the skirt. Is that your
Yeah.
favorite thing, butterflies?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes. Well, you did a great job. Great job. And Cheryl, please hold the book so that so that our viewers can see the shirt, the little girl's shirt, which is exactly what Carmelita, the actual Carmelita, is wearing. So good. And look at that. She even got your hair there.
Yes,
So
and
nice.
the boots that she's wearing, the whole thing. So it was
The
a very
whole outfit.
special relationship that Claudia and I had, and really working
Excellent.
as a team on the book.
Excellent. Well, Carmelita, I know you have a lot of things to do, but just tell me one thing. Are you so proud of your grandma? Do you call her grandma?
You can tell her
What
what
do you
you
call her?
Usha.
Busha.
My
Usha.
Okay. Are you
grandpa's Polish.
in Polish? Okay, excellent. How do you feel that there's a book where you're the main character?
It feels good.
Excellent, excellent. Well, it was so nice to meet you. So nice to meet you. You can tell all your friends you're in a book.
Yes. All
Yeah,
right.
and thank you, Grandma or Busha,
Busha. Busha.
Busha, for writing the book.
All right.
So good. Well, Cheryl, I want to ask you a little bit more about your journey of becoming a children's book author. How long have you been thinking about this?
When I retired, almost 3 years ago, about 6 months into the retirement, I came across Miriam Laundry Publishing and in the Children's Mastermind course. And I thought, you know what? I have read hundreds, like I said, of books. I love children's books. Our house is filled with them. And something just said, wouldn't it be really awesome? So I'm not one of those people who's always aspired to do it, but it was like the one chapter of my relationship to books ended and a new one opened. I
Mhm.
had no idea what would come of it. And so and I didn't have a story in mind either. I'm not one of those authors that always had a story to tell. I'm just the person. For me, the way it happened is that every time I got the whisper to take the next step, whether it was signing up for your course, going to Believe live on my own, not knowing anyone, pulling out the pen and writing the seed idea, and then most importantly, the challenges that I faced along the way, never giving up on those,
Mhm.
where I can say that 20 months later, over 2 years later, really from the time I signed up for the children's book publishing a course, here I am. So it was really just a
Yeah.
series of saying yes and not being afraid to put myself out there and do something that was really challenging and new for me.
hmm Well, I'm so glad you shared your story because not everybody has the same story. This is your story. It came out for you, the desire after retirement. And like you said, it does come with some challenges and lessons. What would you say was the biggest challenge throughout let's talk about the writing process. What was the
Yeah.
biggest challenge for you?
So the writing process, well, it simply was being patient with allowing the story to unfold. I remember meeting authors at your event where they said, I've always had this story in me. I knew the story I wanted to tell. And I thought, I have no idea what story is in me.
Hmm
So patient and trusting the process, allowing myself to write and write and write and not be afraid to um, let go of what I thought it was going to be. It had multiple different endings, that our amazing editor Sharon gave feedback on, and not being so tied to what it once was in the beginning, and trusting that the story that's meant to be out in the world is the story that will get written, And of course, also, a challenge is I knew I was a part of this amazing cohort, and there was, I had an idea of how long this book would take, and it took a lot longer. So it that was the challenge, is not giving up.
Yeah.
Didn't go the way they were supposed to, or the way I wanted them to.
Hmm. And yet, with all those challenges, here you are, a
Yes.
published author. We are celebrating that you are a published author, however long it takes. That's not the point, right? What about a lesson? Can you think about what would you say was the biggest lesson for you throughout the publishing process?
Um, well, trust your team, your publishing team. I have to say that Julia, um, the whole team, Tammy, they're all so incredible, and trust that they have your back, right? They are there because they want to see the absolute best version of your book come to life. And the time that they spent going through and reading every word and giving feedback as if it was their story, as if they were the authors themselves, really meant the world to me.
So great. Okay, I want to ask you about your illustrator. You've already shared how much you loved working with her. You mentioned her name. Maybe give her full name and what was it like to work with her?
Okay, so one more time, Claudia Mariano. Um, and honestly, it was a dream. And I'll just share this incredible photo of her, right? She she was able to take the idea and paint the picture in my mind that I didn't even know was there. Like I see through feelings. And every illustration captures the feelings. So I think one of the things that was really amazing, Miriam, is when we were first introduced and I shared the story and why the story meant so much to me, because actually Carmelita currently is only 6 years old. She has not experienced what the main character in the book has experienced with those rejections. That will come, right? With
Hmm.
the little girl in the book who first upset in her day is when she's made up for wearing glasses. That's the 8-year-old version of Cheryl. And I shared that with Claudia, saying that I was made fun of for wearing glasses. And what she shared with me, that's actually in her bio, is that she has dyslexia. She lives with that reading challenge, and that she had experienced being made fun of as a child. And so we immediately bonded over the message and the theme of the book. And from there, she just worked with me and just felt she just like she embraced our whole family and depicted us and the love that we have and the love and the message of the book. So I'm just so grateful to her, and she's so talented.
Well, it's so good to hear such a great partnership, right? Because as authors, we form a partnership with our illustrators in bringing this story to life. And the fact that she was able to bring in your granddaughter, just so beautiful. So thank you for um, allowing us to meet your granddaughter wearing the whole outfit that the little girl wears in the book. That's so special. So okay, so this dream is just a couple of years old and you made it happen. What is the best part of accomplishing it for you?
Okay, I have to tell you, I love that you asked that, because I shared what started out as, this book is for Genesis, and book is for Carmelita and the legacy that I leave in the wisdom of my lived experience. But the best part of accomplishing this dream is that I get to celebrate who I've become in completing this process, right? By facing and overcoming those challenges, every fear, every challenge along the way, right? That you do later in life, like I am as a woman in her 60s. Um, it just I'm not the same person that I was
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Hmm.
And I feel like I am actually the living embodiment of the message of my book. And the healing of my 8-year-old little girl who was made fun of wearing those glasses for years, who shrunk, who didn't want any attention on her. Because when you're made fun of for a physical type of something that's out of your control, without even realizing it, the light in the bigness that you saw in Carmelita that I had when I was 6, that dimmed when I was 8. And I didn't,
Hmm.
as I was carrying that with me. And so I'm really celebrating that I'm now able to be this person who can take up space, who can say I am enough just as I am, and that I get to take my book and read it in schools and classrooms and gift it to teachers and know that that message is going to be shared. So that is what I'm really celebrating is my who I am now on the other side of this process.
Oh, I love this so much. I love this so much. I mean, truly, we don't think about that when we write a children's book. It is therapeutic, right? It's the heal for a lot of us. I heard a speaker say this once. I may have mentioned it, I believe, I don't know, the year you came or another year. She said, it was Rachel Hollis, and she said, "We write the book we need." And like really for a lot of us, if we think about that, for me, my first book was I Can Believe in Myself. I really needed to believe that. And for you, it's healing a little part of that little girl who was made fun of with her glasses. So
Yes,
I don't
yeah,
know who needed to hear that, but there's so much at the other end of accomplishing something that's so important to you. And it's a little bit of healing for who you were and a lot of accomplishment for who you are now. So, Cheryl, thank you so much for sharing that. Okay,
yes.
you are a very wise woman. So, here's the next question. What advice do you have for an aspiring author who may be watching right now?
Well, I am proof that regardless of how long it takes, really, when you do believe in yourself, and to what you just said, Miriam, when you believe that the message in the book that you're writing is meant for an audience beyond yourself, persevere because we know that children really need to hear these messages. And even though there are other books that talk about worthiness or whatever the topic of your book is, you may think, well, someone else has already written that book. And other people have written a book like mine, but not in the same way, not through that lens. And so I just really encourage any aspiring author to take that step, right? Take the initial step and then take the next one, right? And to be patient with yourself in that process, because we need to hear your story too.
Yes, yes, very good. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so would you hold the book one more time? I Am Enough, Just as I Am. Make sure, friends, go to Amazon. This is the soft cover, the paperback, but it's also there in hardcover and ebook format. You are going to enjoy this book. The children in your life are going to enjoy it. So, besides going to Amazon, where else can our viewers find you?
So I feel, as I've shared here, some of my story, really important to share the journey that I've had. So I've created a Facebook author page. So you can find me on Facebook if you search for the book, I Am Enough Just as I Am. So on Facebook and Instagram, I'm also on LinkedIn. And then I've created a website, Cheryl L. Wozniak .com, so I can continue to share the journey and the lessons that I've learned. And I also want to just really encourage grandparents and parents to join me on that as I share, continue to share lessons from the book and lessons from my own journey as a grandparent.
So great. Okay, well, friends, make sure to do that. Go find her on her social media and on her website. Cheryl, it's been so great speaking with you. Thank you for sharing your book. Thank you for sharing your grandchild. It was great to meet her. Is there anything else you want to share before we go?
Well, I got to share my beautiful child with you. I'll just say this, that as grandparents, we really have a lot of wisdom to share. And I think as a society, we can often get caught up in this idea that, well, our time has come and gone. But I can say this, that feel like I've been completely rebirthed through this process of writing the book. And so I encourage all of the wisdom of our elders out there to for you to share your ideas and your thoughts. And I look forward to hearing from you what it was like to share your experience of reading my book with your loved ones.
Well, thank you, Cheryl. Thank you so much. And friends, thank you for being here. You know what to do. Go grab a copy of this wonderful book. Thanks, Cheryl. Have a good day.
You
Bye.
too.